move on the topic of the monitoring, I was mentioning monitoring a lot, saying this is very much important. And we actually all know something about the monitoring, but somehow very often we actually stuck at that level. What in practical meaning this monitoring is, or what actually look like. We have here one actually very interesting quote, which is saying that one intervention, meaning like development intervention, it's not the intervention if it's not monitored. It's actually only activity. Meaning, if we just do the training, not actually observing what is happening and not analyzing what happened and how that can help us in the future work, then we just have this, tick that this is something that was done, and that's it. What are your experiences with the monitoring? Anything that you would like to share concerning the monitoring? Okay, I have one question for you. It's my favorite topic when we talk about the monitoring, and that is losing on weight, going on a diet. Did you all experience that? From Monday, I'm going on diet. Huh? So
absolutely, every Monday is the diet.
From next week.
And never comes.
Exactly. So we always have this plan for a diet that includes that, like we have some objective. I want to lose like 5 kilos, or I want to get into the size of the clothes like, from 10 years ago. And what usually then we are doing when we make such a decision? What in the project called diet, what would be our activities?
Well, the simplest would be if we would measure ourselves on the first day and then measure again on the last day, but we would probably have to observe what have we done in the meantime, so we can know if the difference is affected by some of our attitudes or what we were doing, probably.
Yeah, we definitely will start, if we are brave, to see how much kilos we have. What is the damage for the beginning? And then usually we have some list of the food that we are eating or schedules. Then for the first 3 days, we are seriously exercising. I usually always need to buy some, new clothes because I have nothing for exercising and such stuff. So what else are you doing?
Making a list of the goals, for example, goal weight, goal timing, and also something that I often find myself is doing is rereading what I wrote. So like when it's monitoring phase, also while we are doing a project, I find myself 100 times rereading the project in order not to miss something. So this is the thing that you do when losing a weight, but discipline and consistency and following what was actually planned would ensure the monitoring phase to go smoothly And it's maybe the most exhausting one.
Yeah.
While project management.
Yeah. Yeah. So we started with our, so we set up some goals. We start with the implementation of our activities. So we collected like information, what to eat, what exercises to do. Then we made a plan, what we will be doing. And of course, we will be observing on daily basis changes, expected changes to happen, wishful thinking. And what is usually happening besides, for example, losing on weight? What other changes are happening because of such a project? What we can actually else also observe, or maybe it can be even motivation for us to actually lose on weight.
Health improvement, energy level improvement.
Exactly, like, like a blood pressure or better blood, like a picture or feeling, to have more energy, simply becoming, in better mood and happier and so on. So these are actually details that are important for monitoring. And usually it's something that we call indicators.
In the chat, we also have from Davchevska, finding a target group interested in losing weight might be one of the steps. Blagorodna said, making a good diet plan. Will I cook? Will I buy cooked meals? So I think Maria also said, I find monitoring really useful process. Indeed, the process staff teams are always reserved in the monitoring stages. I just wanted to make sure that we have the people who cannot perhaps speak audio.
Thank you. Thank you, Dina, for this support. Yes, well, definitely when we talk about the diet as a personal project, practically the key for success is our internal motivation. And that then reflects on the level of the discipline and our commitment and so on. And this is something that is really important for the success. For example, when we look at the homework that was done, what was very impressive for me, that majority of your homework inputs actually came yesterday morning. That means as a good managers, you actually made like the first things first, but what is the first thing is always actually up to our list of priorities. So no matter what others think that should be done first, and again, if we actually make connection with the kids, when we are surprised as a parents, like, why you didn't do this? It's important. And they have another plan, and it's always very similar with our project teams, why you are doing now on the, I don't know, writing some report when we have to work on the preparation of the training that we have tomorrow and such stuff. But it's actually always how we perceive what is important, but that is in very close connection with actually our motivation for the particular task. So coming back on what I was actually talking about, these elements that we are observing, these are indicators that we usually in our projects have defined at the stage of the proposal development. They are described in the proposal and especially placed in the log frame and so on. And they are actually crucial for our monitoring. What is unfortunately is happening that with our focus on the activity implementation, we very often simply neglect, forget, or simply do not give enough attention to the indicators that we actually defined as the elements that will describe our success. And the monitoring is actually about collecting information, how we are actually achieving the indicators. So except that I want to lose on weight, maybe the indicator was my measurements, maybe the certain improvements in the health conditions, or simply how do I feel, or etc., etc. Often we are missing at the reporting phase information exactly about such details, and especially we are missing proof documents. Some simple tables in which we were, inserting this information that we were measuring, or for the target group, information about for example, health checks that were happening, or in case of the training, maybe some checks or tests that we were conducting, or in case of the provision of the social service to elderly people, we often missing some, for example, reports of the experts that were visiting those people and so on. We usually are able to say, yes, we organized several 20 visits, and yeah, they were visited by doctor and by the social work and so on. And this like old lady, which is living alone, she's very happy with the service. And then all further information are not available. How you know that she's happy? Because she just said that she's happy. So how you know that all checks went well, or that her health condition improved? For this, you need to have some other reports, inputs that you have to actually collect continuously. Very often, when we come at the level of the reporting, we face a problem that we don't have all documents and all information. And then that's why reporting is so challenging, for us. And especially it's a huge frustration when at the end of the project implementation, we are asked to provide that as a proof documents, for the involvement of the social worker or for the involvement of the doctor and so on. So I have one question for you. Now watching on this slide, it's like the presenting like photo overview of implementation of one project. Can someone maybe, for example, share with us the view, or simply share the story that you see from those photos? How you would actually describe like an implementation of the project watching now on these photos? Any idea? It's just example for the discussion.
To me, it looks like a social house, or like community house opening in some small place. Starts with a meeting of the municipality with someone who will do the entire work, preparations, view for offices, preparing the offices, opening, and usage. It might be also a youth center, since I see, or a kindergarten, since I see a lot of kids on the photo, I think. So that's it.
Excellent. Any other views, or how you would, Vasilia?
Yes. I will say same as Anna, I think it was.
Yes.
I think it's something like opening some kindergarten, reconstruction of kindergarten or school. Also, she said, I don't know, meeting in the municipality. I don't know, maybe in the view of the municipality, as I can see from picture 4, like checking something, if it's good. That's it.
What do you think? Which picture, just say number, is actually the monitoring part of that project? Like which picture describes monitoring of that project?
I think picture 3, because maybe they're looking what they achieved. Maybe they're looking on some indicators, putting some indicators, helping them to put some indicators.
Благородна from Hops also says 3. And
Okay.
before that, Davchevska Angela said that this is showing, presenting organization of the project and making sure everything is going smoothly by the project schedule. And I was thinking, aren't all these pictures actually a product of activity for monitoring, because they're actually providing us vision of what is happening at different stages?
Yes, I was about to say the same. I think that all pictures are part of the monitoring, just in different stages.
Very interesting.
I
Yeah.
would go with 2 and 4.
Okay.
Because this is the process when they're building, and maybe we arrange the stage, but actually 2 and 4 are actually pictures when something is doing or when something is done. So when we need to, when we talk about monitoring, if it was discussed to be rebuilt the center, then okay, we paid a visit. We saw that actually it's building the top, and then we saw on monitoring that it's painting the sites and so on. So this would be for me monitoring 2 and 4.
Okay.
I would say that the first picture is the preparation, the third picture is planning, the fourth and the second are the construction, and the fifth and the sixth are actually the finish of the activities and opening of the closing of the project.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your inputs. And if I would say, like, the all responses are of course correct, they're just showing us the very often perception, how we see things very often differently. So what was my intention when I actually asked you a question was exactly what Vasilia responded. My intention was that to recognize where they are doing the monitoring on the photos, and that is definitely the picture number 3. So they, in number 1, started with the preparation, then started with the work, and then at some point we need to dedicate time to say, okay, stop, let's see where we are. So other things are going on, meaning activities, tasks, and in this case works. How much money we have? Are there any problems, issues that we have to resolve? Do we have to, chase the company that is doing the works? We all know how that look like in real life. And of course, then we are continuing with the work until the end. However, from the point of the other perspective, and that is whether all those actually photos are the elements of one monitoring system. Yes, exactly. And they are all actually like approved documents for all phases of the project. So it only depends how we actually look on this from which angle, let's say like that. Why actually I presented this here? I just presented to actually give, of course, some another type of the presentation and to engage you on this topic, where actually is monitoring happening. Of course, it is happening in all phases of the project, the implementation. We are aware of it, but actually the crucial part is when we finally start with the work, and actually when we connected some information, let's say as such. I could present the same information like this, but it is depending whether you are more visual type or less visual type, or you actually want to have some concrete like inputs, comments, and so on. I know that you all learned and experienced about the development of the proposal, and you are actually aware of these elements of the project cycle management, which are actually saying that inputs usually from previous project are contributing to the initiation in new one. Those inputs, those lessons learned are actually concrete results of our monitoring activities, and of course at the end evaluation, whether it is happening as internal or as external. However, the operative planning and execution are the segments of the project in which we expect to have the most intensive monitoring activities. You could notice that I am actually mentioning very often division in relation to overall project level monitoring, when we are actually, of course, checking whether team is operative, whether funds are available, whether some preparations are done, whether activities started with implementations, and so on. So these are all details at the level of the overall project implementation. And however, this is more or less very much known to all of us. What is the subject of our improvement? And it's very similar to the previous slide is the what is happening at the level of the activities, for which we need to actually have particular segments that we are actually searching for information, whether particular tasks are implemented, and definitely how we are actually proving that some work has been done and the change actually happened. So you can see that in this slide and in this previous, there are many similar similar elements, but actually we are now digging it a little bit more. I will now share with you one very simple tool. I just actually will open the handout material that you will actually receive. Just a second. It's a simple project activity monitoring format that you will receive in Word document, and you can transfer it into some other format, and you can build actually on. Why actually I am sharing this one with you? Because it is very simple. Some of you might say, oh, well, it's nothing, you know, revolutionary, but it's exactly the simple thing that we are missing in implementation of our projects. And these are like a detailed plan on implementation of the activity and collection of documents and information per each activity. Here I put like an example, a training program activity, and you see in the column subtasks how many, now tasks we might have just for example, the one activity. Always it's a question who is responsible, yes, for the implementation, but also for the provision of the information. And that information is these sources of info that I am saying. So where we are actually defining documents that need to be produced, that will be later on served to us as approved documents for which we can say, yes, this activity actually completed or not yet started, or it is in the progress. These very simple plans we should make at the beginning of the project, and then we should update them on, it would be ideal on monthly basis or at least on a quarterly basis. Why is important to actually have such an intensive activity on monitoring whether something is happening, whether we are producing the proof documents, etc., etc. Because then we are ensuring time to, react. For example, for this selection of experts, we have remarked that we have some budget savings. This timely information will help us to immediately see how we can actually spend this what we save. So, well, excellent. Suddenly we have 300 euros more, but then we usually have to request that we can transfer that funds to another activity where we have some shortages and so on. If we do not this during the implementation and at least on quarterly basis, then we face all this at the end when we actually don't have time to actually make changes. For example, these budget savings, we can transfer funds somewhere else. Maybe we can decide to actually involve more participants on the training and so on. You see also here some, for example, remarks, meaning that, for example, this activity actually not yet started, and because of that, we still don't have those information yet, those information yet available. Okay, tell me, are you doing something like this in your projects?
Hello, do you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I am doing a similar thing, only it is not put in a table like this, but it is in a Word document. But the reasoning behind it is the same as you explained it.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Dima. That's very much promising. Others? Okay, what do you think, whether such a simple tool you will be capable maybe to apply into your further work?
I think absolutely.
Okay.
And I know some organizations that are using the same spaces that are using this for ongoing projects on whiteboards or using stickers and on the wall. So I think it's a good idea to have it all at all times, to have it in front of you.
Yes, yes, that is very much important. And now, especially, we are in a time when there are lots of online tools that can be helpful. The two things are important when we are creating our tools for monitoring. One is to actually use, let's say, the format, meaning whether it's a Word, Excel, whether it's a board, whether it's an online tool, something that is easy for us to use, something that we will, how to say, like it, that will not be for us some, problem. There are now lots of online tools that looks very nice, colorful, but we have to actually take care that they might be also overwhelming. So this is not actually the point of this, that is overwhelming in a way that we have to dedicate a lot of time of inserting information, and that we are overwhelmed when we open such a document. So it should be something that, how to say, we like it, we feel comfortable, meaning our team feel comfortable, and of course that is something that we are using on daily basis, that we have this discipline of collecting information. I would like to go further on. Now I will come back on the
I can share this file in the chat so everybody can have it.
Yes. I actually wanted to, I wanted to ask you a few things. And one is, just a second, one is to actually send document number 1, which is the narrative report format for the experts from one of the from our colleagues, Alexandra Todevska. So she actually said that it's fine. Her organization is sharing their example with us, which is very much similar to summary of everything that we have conducted until now and summarized. And then please, yes, share this document number 2.
Okay. I shared the first one, and now I'm sharing the second.
And the second one
that you presented just a few minutes before.
Yes. Okay. So the next, that I want to share with you is a bit of the story about the monitoring of the target groups. If you noticed, I actually talked a lot about this as a weak point in the monitoring system. We usually present target groups very well in the proposals, and even we actually design some very good indicators. But what actually is happening at the operative level, that we simply somehow, probably because we are overwhelmed and focused on what should be done concerning the implementation of the activities, do not actually consider of monitoring of the progress of the target groups. We are just focused to do things, and that's why we need to set up monitoring, internal monitoring systems, of course, for the implementation of the activities, but especially for the actually measuring the progress at the level of the target groups. Here is actually the simple description of one target group, like 20 representatives, which are, for example, project officers in some youth CSOs. They are between 20 and 29 years old, and they are coming from 10 different local communities and having at least basic knowledge on CSO management. So we actually selected them and involved in our project implementation. And so now we are organizing some training activities for them, I don't know, the coaching activities, mentorships, and so on and so on. We actually designed some indicators at the proposal level, presented like that definitely 20 of them will be selected, that 15 of them will complete the training program, and definitely 10 of them will improve their knowledge for, let's say, one level. If they are on the basic level, they will come to, let's say, some mid-level of their knowing on the CSO management. What I would like now to actually invite you to think, for the purpose of the exercise, what would be the elements of the monitoring plan for this target group?